Thank you. So I'll be the first one to open the evening. Bonsoir à tous. Pierre Fréchette, île du Grand Calumet. Je suis content d'être ici ce soir. Mireille l'a indiqué, c'est un moment historique. It's the first time that the Pontiac population, not only a number of mayors, but the population will have a vote and a say as to who will become the next préfet. Le préfet est plus qu'un coordonnateur de la table des maires. Entre autres choses, oui, il est en contact avec Québec, mais il a également le mandat et le rôle de représenter le Pontiac à différentes tables. Il fait affaire avec un grand nombre d'intervenants. Many of those interveners will be, obviously, from the government, but at the same time as well, and because the Chamber of Commerce has organized this, as one of the partners, we'll also have a good say into what the MRC can do and promote for the Pontiac. Donc, les gens d'affaires sont des gens partenaires avec nous. Les gens du milieu socio-communautaire également sont des partenaires avec nous. Les gens du tourisme, les gens de l'environnement, l'agriculture, la foresterie, tout ça sont des groupes d'individus, des membres de la population qui ont un vote dans cette élection-là. Donc, oui, le gouvernement, mais entre autres, beaucoup d'autres intervenants, comme je viens de les décrire. Donc, le rôle du préfet est primordial. Il faut que ce soit quelqu'un qui soit capable d'unifier les gens, de travailler en symbiose avec les gens. Il doit porter plusieurs chapeaux. Il doit être capable d'avancer des dossiers au plus haut niveau avec les partenaires dans différents secteurs d'attribution. Mon background est un background de gestion, de haute gestion, d'équipe à travers le pays, de budget, d'entente avec des partenaires syndicaux. Donc, je pense avoir tous les attributs pour le job. Je pense être capable de représenter fortement la population du Pontiac. Je vous remercie et je vous souhaite une agréable soirée.
Bonsoir. Good evening. I think everybody knows my name. I'll say it anyway. Charlotte L'Écuyer. The first thought I have, it's an answer to question that two persons asked me when I decided to run. La première chose que je veux vous dire, c'est la première question qui m'a été demandée par deux personnes quand j'ai pris la décision de me présenter suite à des demandes de gens. C'est « T'es pas trop vieille pour te présenter? » They asked me, "You don't think you're too old to run for warden?" Do you want to know what I answered? I said, "You do more mileage than I do. You could get killed before I die." Fait que ce que j'ai répondu, j'ai dit, tu fais pas mal plus de kilométrage que moi j'en fais, puis tu pourrais peut-être mourir avant moi. Je pense pas que c'est une question d'âge, je pense que c'est une question de ce qui nous sommes. Pour moi, le rôle d'un préfet élu, c'est un rôle de communication des attentes puis des résultats, la transparence, l'imputabilité, le partenaire privilégié de projets municipaux et des projets privés. On pense entre autres aux groupes qui existent actuellement, où le préfet a un rôle d'appoint très important. I think the role of a warden, elected warden, is the rapid diffusion of the expectation and results of the project, which I think we had a lack in those. I think we need a lot more transparency. People has to know where we're coming and where we're going. Accountability, why does a project works? How much jobs was created? How much did it cost? Where does the money come from? And we're the partner of the municipal and the private project in the sectors. So I think that's being that, and I think I'm somebody that is known to, when I take a file, I go and I bring it up to results. Thank you.
Bonjour, mon nom c'est Linda Davis. Bonjour, chères voisines et chers voisines. En 2011, je suis devenue résidente de Clarendon. Maintenant, je veux mettre mes connaissances et mon expérience à votre service. Dear neighbors, in 2011, I became a resident of Clarendon, and now I'd like to put my skills and experience to work for you. I believe that this community can be better served by its regional government. Je crois que le gouvernement régional de cette communauté peut mieux vous servir. I also believe that we could bring more opportunities here. As a longtime federal contract negotiator with the federal government and a former Ottawa councillor, I know there are many resources available to help us. Je crois que aussi nous pouvons attirer d'additionner les meilleurs emplois. En tant que négociant de contrat du gouvernement fédéral et comme conseillère à Ottawa, je sais qu'il y a beaucoup de ressources disponibles pour nous aider. My experience, I was an Ottawa Regional Councillor from 1994 to 2001. I was also the acting regional chair of 800,000 people. I was the director of the Ottawa Children's Aid Society of Ottawa, vice chair of OC Transpo and commissioner. I was a member of the Ottawa Board of Trade, a member of the Ottawa Carleton Economic Development Corporation. I was a federal contract negotiator and a lieutenant governor of Kiwanis for Eastern Canada and the Caribbean. And then I started my own company, president of Davis Consulting. Mon expérience est conseillère régionale d'Ottawa entre 1994 à 2001. J'étais aussi présidente par intérim du Conseil régional d'Ottawa. Je suis une directrice de la Société de bien-être de l'enfance d'Ottawa, aussi vice-présidente, aussi transpo et commissionnaire. J'étais un membre de Chambre de commerce d'Ottawa, aussi membre de la Société de développement économique d'Ottawa-Carleton. Négociante de contrats fédéraux et lieutenant-gouverneur Kiwanis, région de l'Ouest du Canada et des Caraïbes. J'ai commencé une compagnie qui s'appelle Davis Consulting et j'étais présidente. Merci.
Bonsoir à tous. Je sais pas si Bonsoir à tous. Je pense que vous me connaissez. Je suis Raymond Durocher. Je suis le préfet présentement. C'est avec le Conseil des élus de cette année et de l'an passé que le change se produit, de la discussion qu'on a ce soir. Pour ceux qui me connaissent, je suis un passionné de la politique municipale québécoise. Je suis originaire du comté de Pontiac et j'en suis très fier. Et je suis revenu à mes racines il y a déjà 30 ans. Ma formation professionnelle relève du milieu préhospitalier et des mesures d'urgence. Je ne suis pas à la retraite, j'ai aucune intention de déménager et depuis 7 ans, je fais de la politique locale et régionale à plein temps. Toujours à la défense et à l'écoute de nos enjeux avec la population et les élus, j'ai toujours multiplié les efforts et agi avec concertation dans l'intérêt de tous. Un de mes grands atouts que les gens me mentionnent, c'est la persévérance. Oui, parfois je lève le ton, parfois je parle avec mes mains, parce que je suis convaincu que dans le Pontiac, on peut faire toujours mieux. And there is no surprise today in the MRC Pontiac. There is a vision, there is a strategic plan that evolved from public consultation. For the past four years, with the elected official, we put this plan ahead. We evolve in a new way of facing economic challenges and better to respond and to act. Our new role as government of proximity is a golden opportunity for the MRC Pontiac right now to make a difference. Thinking out of the box, working in partnership, and not giving up or selling the Pontiac, and facing the many challenges and changing our environment and adapting to our new reality is not quitting. Nous avons un énorme potentiel de développement chez nous et c'est en se regroupant nos forces que nous pouvons tous les réaliser. Merci beaucoup.
Bonsoir. Good evening. I am not running for a job. I am running to create jobs. Mon nom est Jane Toller. J'ai vécu ici 5 ans et investi et créé beaucoup d'emplois. J'ai expérience comme commissaire d'école et 8 ans sur le Conseil de Toronto. J'ai siège sur beaucoup de comités, incluent Groupement tactique intervention, Comité d'investissement de la MRC et Association tourisme Pontiac. J'ai initié la pétition pour le Pont Rouge et nous avons reçu 9 millions de dollars pour réparer. Aussi, j'ai présenté un plan de piscine Pontiac et reçu support de 18 maires. Je suis décidée à devenir bilingue, mais le plus important encore est l'action. La masse importante, mais le swing dans la manche aussi. Très peu a été accompli ces 5 dernières années. Nous avons besoin de changements drastiques et j'ai des idées concrètes pour y arriver, et c'est urgence. My platform is based on the letters of the word Pontiac. P, prospérité avec emploi. O, opportunities. N, ressources naturelles avec opérations forestières et minières. T pour tourisme, I pour infrastructure, A pour agricole, et C pour connexion. We need to give a strong voice to the population in making decisions. The MRC must make jobs priority number 1. I propose to increase our population through enabling youth to remain here for their education and jobs, and to provide 55-plus housing for seniors. Through encouraging investment in the Pontiac, we will provide the opportunity for the other residents to live here. Thank you. We must stop the exit of our resources and put the Pontiac first. Merci beaucoup.
Bonsoir tout le monde. On va passer aux questions qui ont été préparées par la Chambre de commerce. Il y a un tirage au sort qui a été fait et l'ordre des questions ont été prédéterminés à une rencontre juste avant le forum. Donc, je vais vous demander les questions en français et en anglais et vous répondez dans la langue de votre choix. Monsieur Fréchette, pour commencer, le CIS de l'Outaouais a pour mission de maintenir, d'améliorer et de restaurer la santé et le bien-être de la population de l'Outaouais en rendant accessible un ensemble de services de santé et de services sociaux intégrés et de qualité, contribuant ainsi au développement social et économique de la région. Comment pouvons-nous appuyer, épauler l'ajout et la rétention de nouveaux médecins dans le Pontiac et augmenter les services spécialisés à notre centre de santé? Je vous la répète en anglais. The mission of the CIS de l'Outaouais is to maintain, improve, and restore the health and well-being of the Outaouais residents by providing them with a range of integrated and high-quality health and social services, thus contributing to the regional social and economic development. How can we support the addition and retention of new physicians in Pontiac and expand specialized services at our health center?
Okay, thank you. Great question of concern, if I may say it like that. L'ajout de nouveaux médecins est toujours un grand questionnement. La région du Pontiac a souffert à différents niveaux, dans différents secteurs, dont la santé, de perte ou de relocalisation des services. Le CISO, qui est responsable sous la loi 10 de favoriser et de simplifier l'accès aux services, nous a plus ou moins rendu service en rapatriant des services centralisés. By doing so, obviously, the perception and the interpretation that we have is that basically we're losing out on some of the services that we were getting. The approach to favor or to support the arrival of new physicians is supported by the CISO by different initiatives, but the MRC has a role as well in there. And as a partner, obviously, we have to have better communication with the CISO. I know that this week they'll be providing us with a debrief as to where the CISO stands on different aspects of their services to the region, and I'm quite anxious to see what they have to say. Mais pour le moment, c'est d'assurer que nous avons un environnement qui va favoriser l'arrivée d'un nouveau médecin. Un des sites qui est utilisé en ce moment pour faire de la publicité pour le recrutement des médecins nous indique très clairement le Pontiac comme étant le meilleur des deux mondes, with an hospital in Shawville and 6 points of services CLSC across the region. It also promotes the environment of the Pontiac as being one of quiétude, quality, and obviously with all the infrastructures required for families to establish themselves. So we need to support the CISO, but we need to go out as well as outside of the box and work with other partners, universities. There's a connection with McGill University with the CISO already. And there's going to be a new campus at l'Université du Québec in Outaouais that's going to be developing connection as well with McGill in order to train new doctors. Nous allons avoir des docteurs à 100 km, de nouveaux docteurs du nouveau sang qui, eux, vont peut-être être plus ouverts à venir s'établir en région que d'aller s'établir en ville. N'oubliez pas, on donne également des incitatifs qui varient pour la région, et la région du Pontiac offre des incitatifs variant en 105 et 140% de salaire. So for a newcomer in the Pontiac, there's already monetary reserves identified to promote them coming here. And that's for omnipraticians. Les spécialistes, c'est la même chose. On parle des omnipraticiens, de nouveaux médecins, mais des services spécialisés. Si on peut promouvoir de façon correcte, si on peut aller chercher des gens qui seraient intéressés à venir s'établir chez nous, du nouveau sang par l'entremise de ces contacts-là avec les universités, avec les collèges spécialisés qui éventuellement vont former également des gens dans d'autres sphères comme le domaine des infirmiers. On parle des super infirmières au Québec. On parle de médecins dans votre question. Mais il y a peut-être d'autres options également qu'il faut commencer à étudier. Options such as super nurses. So there's options out there, and I'm quite confident we can have people bring their knowledge to the Pontiac. There's work done, there's more to be done. But I think we have the tools and we can promote our region better.
OK, Monsieur Fréchette.
Oui, merci.
Merci. Je connais bien le monde de la santé. On est toujours le premier hôpital, même avec toutes les transformations. On est toujours au numéro 1 dans l'Outaouais et numéro 6 dans la province. Fait qu'il y a quelque chose qu'on a su conserver. Pour ce qui est du recrutement et du maintien des spécialités, on a déjà en place une structure très organisée pour être un des premiers centres hospitaliers rural d'avoir une accréditation avec McGill depuis les 30 dernières années. C'est un grand bassin de rétention. Ce que les médecins nous demandent, c'est premièrement qu'en tant que communauté, on fasse connaître qu'on est là et qu'on est là pour les appuyer et de ne pas avoir peur de dire que ces services-là ont été créés dans le Pontiac et qu'on veut les maintenir. C'est quand même pas loin de 500 emplois que le centre occupe actuellement. Pour ce qui est des médecins spécialistes, on est en liste pour recevoir des médecins spécialistes, chirurgie de genoux, remplacement de hanches, des orthopédistes. Il y a de l'équipement, l'inventaire vient d'être presque fini, il y a des équipements. On va avoir besoin du support de la communauté pour s'assurer que s'il y a des équipements, qu'avec la fondation qui est en place actuellement, qu'on mette tout le monde la main à la roue pour supporter la venue de ces nouveaux médecins. Et on a eu des commentaires. J'ai rencontré la semaine passée un spécialiste qui m'a dit « Les gens ont déjà commencé à demander pour s'en venir dans le Pontiac. » Fait que nous devons les accueillir, nous devons organiser des endroits pour aller manger avec eux, faire connaître c'est quoi le Pontiac, qu'est-ce qu'on a comme système scolaire. Et ça, je pense que ça fait partie de ce que la population a à supporter. Et les médecins sont prêts à rencontrer, que ce soit la Chambre de commerce, que ce soit un comité de citoyens d'un village qui dit « Moi, je suis prête à faire telle chose si vous arrivez avec des médecins ». Je pense que c'est ce qu'on a besoin actuellement au niveau de la santé. Un petit message en passant, pour ça je vais aller vite en anglais. À ce qui paraît, le CISO vient le 12, cette semaine, comme il a fait à Maniwaki. S'il vient, il y a déjà une autre réunion qui est prévue. J'espère que les gens vont s'informer correctement s'ils sont bel et bien dans la région et qu'il y a du monde qui va aller pour leur faire part de leurs préoccupations et s'assurer que les chirurgies spécialisées s'en viennent. What I'm saying right now, there is a good structure where in contact with McGill, we were the first rural hospital to be affiliated to McGill University for the past 30 years. We're still number 1 in the Outaouais and number 6 in the province. And there's a village ready to support what the doctors need. It could be money. So.
Premièrement, c'est le gouvernement du Québec qui décide combien de médecins on va avoir ici. Il y a une calculation et il décide c'est basé sur la population et en plus c'est le budget. Essentially, what you have is the Quebec government actually decides how many family doctors we will be having here, and they do it based on the population, and they do it on the budget available. Right now, j'attends de dire qu'il y a entre 22 et 23 médecins ici dans la région. Et maintenant, sans d'avoir les confirmations au manque des médecins, maintenant, je pense que le système fonctionne bien. Right now, they are having 22 to 23 are allocated of family doctors in the area. And until we would have proof to say that this is not working and this number isn't good enough for us, and then if that were the case, then we would be lobbying to change the formula. We would be working with our elected at the provincial level. My research has shown to me that, in fact, what happens is that in order to retain, to acquire someone to come to the region and to retain them, oftentimes what they find is the person who's most committed to that is someone who has grown up in a rural setting. So I want to ask, why is it that when we're looking at who's coming here, we're having people coming from somewhere else. We're also having foreign trained doctors are the ones that are mostly coming to rural settings. So why can't we create some kind of a link between the education system and some kind of a link to try and raise up our own doctors that come from the Pontiac? And with the close proximity to the University of Ottawa has a program that is one of the best in Canada for rural doctors, and also with McGill University, we should be perhaps looking, and if that's something as a warden we could do. Peut-être un projet pilote pour savoir qu'est-ce qu'on manque pour avoir une étudiante en médecin qui était une résidente du Pontiac. Je voudrais, peut-être on doit discuter avec le système d'éducation pour améliorer la science ou peut-être la deuxième langue pour être la personne qui va travailler ici doit parler en français et en anglais. Aussi, il y a seulement 2 hôpitaux en Québec qui est désigné bilingue. And in Quebec, there are only 2 hospitals that are designated bilingual. The rest are function in French only. So that will also limit who we can acquire and retain here as our doctors. The other avenue I think we have open to us is doctors who want to come and open special clinics. So perhaps doctors that are close to retirement that are looking at possibilities that they'd like to come and work 2 or 3 days a week and could come here comme spécialistes et qui peuvent essayer d'améliorer le processus ici. Merci.
Je pense que c'est important de signaler que la réalité de la médecine rurale pour les médecins, ça ne touche pas seulement que le comté de Pontiac, c'est une problématique à la grandeur de la province du Québec et du Canada. Notre plus grand problème, c'est que le gouvernement a adopté une loi où que ça a aboli les conseils d'administration locaux, où qu'il y avait un contact direct avec le milieu, avec le monde politique. Le dernier exercice, la MRC a participé était en 2013, où on parlait de recrutement de nouveaux médecins et de personnel de santé. Maintenant, il faut se rendre à Gatineau, puis leur priorité, pas nécessairement la nôtre. Since 2014, I've been denouncing Bill 10 because it took away the proximity of our health care to the people. Mais une chose qui est réaliste, there's a book that's been written in the Pontiac. There's a doctor really pushing forward for rural medicine. Dr. McClellan and our local doctors right now. Do we have to rewrite the book, or we just have to sit at the same table and think of a plan? I think the MRC Pontiac people wrote this book. The people of the communities and political applauded that book. Now we have to work together. Rewrite the new book for the grand seduction for the MRC Pontiac. Yes, McGill is in Outaouais. Yes, there's money incentive and everything else. but there's more as a community or as a region that we could offer to all medical personnel that comes into the Pontiac. But the only way we could achieve that is working all together, 18 communities, one MRC, fighting with what we want and the best results for healthcare in the Pontiac. Merci.
C'est une question importante. Pour un système de santé efficace, nous avons besoin d'attirer une variété de médecins compétents. Nous avons besoin de leur offrir une qualité de vie intéressante pour eux et la famille. Une opportunité d'emploi pourrait être offerte aux conjoints. Ils seront préoccupés par une éducation valable pour leurs enfants. Nous devrons satisfaire leurs besoins en matière de vie sociale et recreationnelle. When Deep River, Ontario needed to bring scientists from England, they were required to build a golf course, a yacht club, a theater, and a tennis club. For example, we have a proposal for a swimming pool in the Pontiac, which will provide instruction and exercise. This enables health and wellness. The Pontiac offers a large variety of recreational activities 12 months of the year. I'm told that the tennis court in Shawville was recently refurbished largely by the doctors. We have a closed theater in the central Pontiac, which could provide films and live theater. There are other possibilities, such as another bowling alley that could open. But my idea of the introduction of a French cégep in the Pontiac could make a difference, keeping doctors' families in the Pontiac. Right now, some of them are living in Luskville, so they have proximity to Gatineau for cégep. Another attraction is our real estate, which is more affordable than in cities. With our many lakes and rivers, you can have a home and a cottage in the same location. We also offer close proximity to the capital region, which offers enhanced culture and an international travel center. Doctors' and salaries and benefits are regulated through the provincial government, but as warden, I will look at the possibility of adding new incentives to enable doctors to choose the Pontiac over other regions. Nous avons une clinique médicale Lotus en Shawville avec de l'espace. This also assists doctors with business management so that new doctors don't have to be burdened with payroll and snow clearing. Tel que la dialyse annonce récemment pour Shawville. Nous devons supporter nos CLSC qui offrent des services excellents et efficaces. De nombreux usages viennent de l'extérieur du Pontiac. We all see people from Gatineau in our CLSCs because they are so efficient. Through the revitalization of the Pontiac and the attraction of new employment, we will increase our population, which will then increase the number of doctors that we have access to. This will secure our medical services in the Pontiac and make it easier to attract and retain new physicians. Thank you.
On va passer à la deuxième question. Cette fois-ci, on va commencer, c'est Mme Lécuyer qui va répondre à la question en premier. Encore une fois, je vais la lire en français et en anglais. Le mandat de la MRC de Pontiac est d'améliorer le bien-être économique sur son territoire en travaillant de concert avec des entrepreneurs locaux et des promoteurs extérieurs pour favoriser le développement d'infrastructures régionales et de projets structurants dans la région. Par le passé, des reproches ont été faits à l'égard de la MRC Pontiac, car malgré l'attention portée par cette dernière, peu de résultats concrets ont été obtenus. Si élu préfet, comment allez-vous travailler avec les entrepreneurs locaux pour atteindre l'objectif commun du développement économique du Pontiac? The mandate of the MRC Pontiac is to enhance the economic well-being within its jurisdiction by working with local entrepreneurs and outside promoters to foster growth. In the past, However, some criticism has been laid against the MRC in that too much attention has been paid to the latter in attempting to meet its mandate with little in the way of tangible results achieved. So if elected as warden, how will you work with local entrepreneurs in achieving the shared goal in the economic development of the Pontiac?
Thank you. First of all, I think that the first job for a warden is to have a leadership to make sure that the people that has ideas for project gets together and to facilitate them to go through their projects. We have not just helped them to start the project, we have to follow through with them as the project develops, because a lot of times we lost project because once it was there, the people didn't have no support group to make sure that what the requirements were for forms or filling out the tax return and stuff like that. And the small businesses really need that support group. So I think that's one of the jobs that has to be there to help the groups. I was looking into what's the new group, tactical group is doing, and if they start a project with a group, we have to make sure as MRC, and the warden has to make sure with those people that if they need help, 6 months after the project is started, 1 month or 1 year after it started, that we have the support. We have to be accountable of the project. We were never accountable, or just a little bit to a certain extent. But I remember a project where we put a lot of money in, and once all the money was gone, they closed up. I have a very good example of one of our community service changed all this eating system to make sure that they would buy the produce from that company that was Pontiac company. And when they close, well, now he's buying his produce God knows where. So that's the responsibility of the elected warden and the responsibility of the MRC. If we have to be transparent, if we're a stakeholder in a project with private, the private doesn't have to say, and you don't have to go public as what the private is putting in, but you have to go public of what the MRC is putting in. It's our tax money, and that is one of the comments that we get. We don't know what they're doing with the money that they get. We don't know the results. We don't know how many jobs were created. So I think the stakeholder has to know where we're coming from and where we're going when we have a project. And when we have a team right now that is doing a good job, and it's the first time that we have so many people sitting around a table with the people that have entrepreneur, who are either entrepreneur or have ideas. So I think we must make sure that once something starts, that the people are behind it, and the MRC will be there until it is viable, not just for 1 year or 2, but that we create our local jobs. There's nothing better than having local people in small businesses. Canada was made with small businesses, and the Pontiac too.
When I first moved up here, I went to the Chamber of Commerce meetings, and they had asked for volunteers to sit on a committee to look at how we could promote local businesses. And so with Mr. Lelivière and a number of other local business owners, we sat and we talked about developing a program of buying within the Pontiac. Moi, quand j'ai acheté ma maison, j'ai engagé à peu près 40 personnes pour faire les réparations chez moi. I shopped local, I bought from the hardware stores, I bought from the local contractors, and that's one of the things that we need to enhance, that we are eliminating any systemic barriers to having our local people used properly in our work. One of the things that I had done in my past was I was part of the Westboro BIA, and I think there's no one solution that's going to help all businesses. It depends on the sector, it depends on the type of business, the size of the business. I sat on the Westboro BIA, which was in a business improvement area, so it was a small section that went from Hintonburg essentially and up into Westboro. If you go to Westboro nowadays, you're going to find it's a very thriving place, but that took over 25 years of work. What we had was essentially about 109 vacant storefronts. It was really an empty place, so we had to start with an anchor, which ended up being Mountain Equipment Co-op. And then we were bringing in local, we were looking at the demographics of the population immediately adjacent. We knew there were a lot of children, so some children's stores, we went out and we approached them. Then the coffee shops came, and then slowly it built up to what they call the new glebe. So I have experience working on a very smaller level, but at a larger level, I worked for the Economic Development Corporation, and on the time I was elected, we had lost 15,000 federal public servant jobs. We lost 20,000 in the high-tech sector. There were 35,000 jobs, and what they told us, the experts, that for every job that we lost in a high-paying arena, we were losing 3 jobs downstream: taxi, restaurants, all of the other businesses that rely on that. So we had over 105,000 jobs that we were facing, and we started off with various different programs working at the different sectors to see if we could acquire people to come and fill that void, and we were successful in doing that. Recently, Amazon has put out a call that they're looking to create all kinds of 50,000 jobs. They're looking for a high area that would be over 1 million people. And as a contracting officer, I sat down with a number of local entrepreneurs to see, is there any chance at all that the Pontiac would have a hope to put a bid in for something like this? It became very apparent, because we don't have our master transportation systems in place, that we would not qualify. But Ottawa is in fact a very strong contender and a leader in this. Having worked in Ottawa and having had benefits of being told that without the workforce of 40,000 people that were coming across the bridge, we couldn't do our jobs, perhaps we can negotiate, should that be a successful thing, residents of the Pontiac having access to those kinds of jobs. Thank you.
Je pense qu'il est important de souligner une MRC avec l'ensemble des responsabilités qu'on a à jouer avec. Souvent, on est gouverné par des politiques et des structures que c'est pas nous autres qui mettons en place, c'est le gouvernement supérieur, le gouvernement du Québec, et on sait que le gouvernement du Québec a fait une restructuration. In restructuring the regards of the new policies, of the willingness of the government, the MRC had to change too, and it's about 2 years and a half. We did have to restructure a lot of things at the MRC. We had to change a lot of policy to fit their guidelines. The biggest fight right now is fighting with the government and asking more and more of the money that was taken away from us to invest back in the communities. A program written in Quebec City that fits Montreal does not fit the Pontiac. We have to adapt those programs to our reality. But doing that, supporting our local economy. Yes, we have hard times, difficult times. But I see a lot of local entrepreneurs in the MRC de Pontiac in the past 4 years that invested a lot of money of starting a business, invested a lot of money creating jobs. And those investments, they came to one place, because in the restructuring, in the Pontiac, we have one-stop shop. You get in at the SODC and you get a hold of all the programs available in the MRC Pontiac. No more 2 doors, 3 doors, 4 doors, go to Quebec City, no more. One-stop shop. GTI is a great opportunity. 2015, 2016, the MRC Pontiac, in 5 sectors, we invested $1 million supporting local economy, supporting local businesses. Yes, it's hard. What can we do more? We have to create momentum. But we still face the question, and everybody's talking about it, demographic. There's social issues, there's economic issues. But right now, we're getting on the top of it. As 2 months ago, we were in the bottom pit of all the standing stats for the province of Quebec. We're not 104 anymore, we're 102. We're climbing slowly. Can we do more? Yes, we can. There's a point of supporting. Supporting our local organization that is asking for funding, support, it's already in place. It's been in place for the last 3 years. We don't leave anybody alone anymore. We support them because we want them to thrive and build on their capital and create jobs in the Pontiac. We've been doing it. The only problem is we're not saying it to ourselves. We're not applauding ourselves. Thank you very much.
Je suis un entrepreneur depuis 5 ans dans le Pontiac. Et comme préfète, en préfecture, je travaillerai avec les entrepreneurs locaux pour assurer la stabilité de leur entreprise. Je suis d'accord que la MRC a été davantage préoccupée par les investissements externes. The MRC has focused on some big ideas promising large numbers of jobs, which in the end are financed completely by government without the financial commitment of private investors. Remember the Michael Bartlett 100 Green Industries promising 15,000 jobs. Expectations of the people of the Pontiac are not fulfilled and there are 0 jobs. More encouragement and assistance of existing local entrepreneurs guarantees local jobs. Aucun nouveau commerce ne devrait dépendre seulement du financement du gouvernement. Pour un bon départ, tout entrepreneur devrait s'engager financièrement pour démontrer leur sérieux. Je siège présentement au comité d'investissement de la MRC qui accorde des prêts. Trop souvent, ces prêts ne sont pas remboursés. Il faut s'assurer que ces prêts soient remboursés en point, c'est tout. De cette façon, nous nous assurons du sérieux du plan d'affaires avec peu de risque. Nous sommes chanceux d'avoir la SADC qui travaille côte à côte avec les nouveaux entrepreneurs pour établir un bon plan d'affaires et trouver des solutions au financement. Je supporte les efforts de la Chambre de commerce pour ce atelier et un mentorat du programme sur l'aide de beaucoup d'entrepreneurs de plusieurs secteurs. To fast-track new business, I will create a toolbox with the provincial and federal governments to create temporary measures to reduce red tape and regulations providing obstacles. I will also encourage serious proposals to the economic SWAT team to receive major funding and ensure that the $2.2 million grant for development that we receive actually supports business development and jobs. Le Conseil de maire de la MRC doivent définir le type d'affaires dont le Pontiac a besoin. Nous allons examiner toutes les opportunités ratées. While I lived in Toronto, I worked for Procter & Gamble and have many connections in manufacturing, which we can bring to the Pontiac. I also worked as a city councillor closely with the Toronto Board of Trade and the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, which champions small business. So I bring ideas and best practices. If something works somewhere else, why wouldn't we do it? Je serai une championne de la pardon me. Oh, all right. I'll be a champion of solicitation.
All of my colleagues at the table have talked about different elements that didn't work and are hopeful that things will get better. I am of that same view. However, I do appreciate the fact that we do have partners already that we can work with, and we can look outside as well for new partnerships. The principle is that we work with our local entrepreneurs and outside promoters to foster growth. Growth will not come from within. If we look at it that way only, we're going to implode. We're going to be missing the opportunities that might come and experience from others. We have to look at our local businesses and supporting them, making sure that they are well entourés. Si on regarde les différentes interventions qui ont été dites tantôt et je regarde les différents intervenants dans le milieu des affaires, le GTI, avec certains membres qui y siègent, n'ont même pas encore reconnu qu'il manquait des partenaires à la table, des partenaires dans le domaine de l'éducation qui n'étaient pas membres de la GTI. Dans le GTI, il y a un potentiel de 16 projets à 45 millions. Ne voyons pas cela comme une dépense, mais comme un investissement potentiel. Il faut regarder vers l'avenir et oublier que nécessairement, quand il y a eu des coups dans l'eau avec une épée, that those swords in the water necessarily may have triggered other elements. Le FAR, le Fonds d'aménagement des régions, est également un fonds pour lequel l'Outaouais a reçu 20 millions. Il faut s'impliquer, il faut aller chercher ces sous-là. Le support aux entreprises existe dans le Pontiac, contrairement à ce que j'ai entendu. Le CLD et le SADC font du merveilleux travail avec les jeunes entrepreneurs. Je vais aller plus loin. Les Caisses populaires des Jardins ont annoncé récemment qu'ils investissaient dans les jeunes entrepreneurs. On a une caisse populaire, on a un réseau des caisses populaires dans le Pontiac. Si petit soit-il, ces gens-là sont connectés pour aller chercher de l'argent pour les jeunes entrepreneurs du Pontiac. Donc, ça existe, ces choses-là, nécessairement. Je suis un optimiste. Je ne porte pas des lunettes roses. I don't see the world in pink color. But at the same time, I like to look forward and look at options with those partners that I just mentioned, which are out there and available with some money for us to basically sustain our economy. Now, making sure that we open the region to new markets as well is very important. Again, implosion will not bring us anything. So we have to look at what might be the region's specific or particularities that we have. L'UPA, a lot of the projects that are driven by the GTE are going to be agroalimentaires. UPA est un partenaire. Donc, ces gens-là devraient siéger au GTE, devraient travailler avec nous à la MRC pour ouvrir de nouveaux marchés. Il faut regarder à nos infrastructures également. Les infrastructures telles la téléphonie, le cellulaire. Si on n'a pas ces infrastructures-là, telles que le supporte M. William Amos, on va avoir de la difficulté à attirer des entreprises. C'est qu'on peut promettre long comme le bras, il faut travailler ensemble. Merci.
On passe à la troisième question. Cette fois-ci, on va commencer avec Mme Davis. Lors de sinistres ou autres situations imprévues, il arrive que les systèmes de communication soient endommagés et inutilisables pendant plusieurs heures. La conséquence étant que le citoyen se trouve sans accès aux services d'urgence. Si élu préfet, comment prévoyez-vous améliorer la sécurité des Pontissois dans ces situations? When an accident or other unexpected situation occurs, the communication systems are sometimes damaged and unusable for many hours. Consequently, the citizens have no access to emergency services. If elected as warden, how do you plan to improve the safety of the Pontiac citizens in such cases?
Thank you. This is mandated by the Quebec government that under the Civil Protections Act, that there's a plan, public security plan in place. So at the MRC Pontiac, they actually have to have a plan that goes to the smallest unit. So it works from our different municipalities, and that we work out from there. That is the way that it goes. But if you're looking on the websites, you're going to find that the responsibility is actually divided in many ways. They're saying that primarily the responsibility is up to us to make sure that we have a family safety plan, to also make sure that we have an emergency plan that could last up to 3 days. We need to have in our homes and prepared for the future for 3 days that we have enough should no one be able to come and reach us. Je pense qu'on a besoin d'une éducation publique pour expliquer à chacun, on doit avoir une safety plan chez nous. We have to, I was not even aware of it. When I was doing the research for this question, I was thinking, well, how would this work? I also know that the responsibility when you go and you're looking at the federal government, they're saying that, in fact, that Quebec is an area at high risk and it's of a federal emergency. They're identifying floods, storm surges, landslides, wildfires, and earthquakes, never mind the ice storms that we've been experiencing. So when we're looking at this, I think that one of the first things we have to do is take responsibility ourselves. In my case, my husband was very ill, and I had to go. I had a home phone, but when there was no electricity, well, I had to have a cell phone that would be able to get some attention, and if the cell towers went down, I had to have a neighbor plan that would come and assist me. So that's one of the things as a warden, that we make sure that our safety plans are in place and that the public in general knows what we need to do. Secondly, I'm going to speak because you can't talk about this question in a couple of minutes. In the case of an absolute catastrophe like the ice storm in 1998, I was actually fortunate that I sat in the war room at the City of Ottawa. And what we did at the time, we had all of the experts of our hydro, our police, our ambulance, military, roads crews, clean up, medical officers of health. We had everyone sitting around the table. It became very clear that it was such a massive problem that we were paying about $1 million an hour in resources to have people on the roads and taking care of our community and saving them. One of the contacts that I have, having been from Ottawa, was that I knew that there is a system that cabinet ministers can be reached immediately. I reached the Deputy Prime Minister within about 20 minutes. He reached the Prime Minister, and 45 minutes later we had a helicopter at the City of Ottawa. I went up in the plane, we went through the whole area, not just Ontario, but also into Quebec, and we had our funding immediately. So you need the judgment, you need to know when to bring in the military, you know how you have to act, and you have to make sure that after this happens, people are actually paid for the damage they've sustained. Thank you.
Well, Todd, you better get your card ready because I could talk on this one a long time. It's my domain. The reality is local municipality must have a plan. Response to certain activity that they pick out and a 72-hour replenishment for the citizen. Sorry to say, but the MRC, we don't have one. But it is a priority. We did a lot of measures in last year and the year before with the Schéma de risque for the Fire Safety Act, put a lot of things in place, that we have all the information in place, that we will have a regional plan. It's going to be in the next 12 months. Elected or not, it's going to be in the next 12 months. But there's a reality. Right now, we're responding like good citizens. We're adapting to the reality the best way we can. But the impact on the region, Linda mentioned the ice storm. I was part of the evaluation committee of this. Total mess. She talked about the Army. Pick up a phone and call the Army. In Quebec, when you pick up the phone, you talk to your minister or your MP. You don't get an answer in 15 minutes. You probably get an answer within 24 hours. I know we lived it this spring. The reality is, to put a plan in place is very simple. To think of all the reality and what could happen is very easy. But where to get the people to intervene? And we're limited in people. Ambulance technicians, fire departments, first responders, and the reality falls on one person in the local municipality, the DG, general manager, not the council, not the warden, not the elected official. The people that leads those plans are working for us. How can we put this in a plan that makes sure the regional plan is fit for the county and responds to local municipality? Within 12 months, we'll have a plan. I can guarantee you that if I'm elected, because right now, too many crises happen in the Pontiac since 2011, 2012. We need to face it. And the new reality is what? New technology, because everybody depends on technology. And when the technology goes, we don't have a fallback. And I know, I lived it. And it's a reality for the Pontiac. And the territory is very, very big. We have a study for integration of fire departments. We have to intervene in the TNOs, non-organized territory in the MRC de Pontiac for rescues. We have to face those responsibilities. Thank you, Todd.
Comme préfète, je verrai à coordonner tout travail d'excavation, que ce soit en milieu agricole ou public. Cela évitera des dommages accidentels. Toute réparation doit avoir priorité. Dans d'autres régions, Belle-Fournier une ligne de dépannage. Lors de bris, les gens doivent s'y fier à leur cellulaire. Le service cellulaire n'existe pas dans certains secteurs du Pontiac. Les tours de transmission devraient donner un meilleur service de cellulaire. Some of our existing towers are not equipped with cell phone gear, for example, the 2 towers in Sheenborough. We must add cell service to those existing towers. The MRC Pontiac is a partner with MRC Gatineau, 2 school boards, and Pickenock. This contract was made for 20 years, which is a long contract. The CRTC has mandated that the major cell phone companies need to improve cell communication along major highways coast to coast by the end of 2018. Unfortunately, Pickenock is not a major player. Par souci d'économie, Pickenock a installé la fibre optique sur les poteaux d'hydro, ce qui augmente les risques de dommages en cas de bris. L'annonce d'une somme considérable, peut-être $5 millions par le CRTC, est anticipée. La MRC, avec consultation publique, doit examiner la meilleure utilisation de ces argents. Le système a besoin d'amélioration et nous n'avons pas besoin d'autres fibres optiques. Nous avons la fibre optique à travers le Pontiac depuis 10 ans et cela ne nous a pas profité. Pickenock is owned by Muscatel Inc., who makes a profit laying fiber optic cable. I'm concerned that Pickenock may decide to use the grant to lay more fiber optic cable. My goal is to improve communication for everyone in the Pontiac. At this point, the MRC Pontiac is focused on better service in our villages, but it doesn't include major roads. I will create a working group. We need to include all internet service providers, and they need to share our towers. The present company used by the MRC Pontiac, which is responsible for maintenance, appears unmotivated to work with other companies. This needs to change. We need better communication, not only for emergencies and safety and security, but to attract more tourists, new residents, and investors. Thank you.
Je veux revenir à la question de base sans trop s'étendre. On parle ici d'une situation où le danger a pu avoir été ressenti par la population. J'ai regardé la MRC, qu'est-ce qu'on avait justement comme structure en place. Having been at the table, I could have access to different documentation that are now public. La sécurité publique occupe 238 000 sur le budget de la MRC. Quand on regarde la définition de la sécurité publique dans la documentation de la MRC, on parle surtout d'événements reliés à la couverture d'incendie. En fait, c'est le guide de sécurité d'incendie, le schéma de couverture de risque en incendie. Par contre, dans un article, on dit qu'il s'agit de la 5e panne générale en 9 ans. Est-ce qu'on est en train de dire qu'en 9 ans, à la MRC, après 5 pannes majeures où la sécurité du public a été mise en cause, que nous mettons l'effort sur la sécurité incendie? Absolument. Est-ce que ce sont les seules choses sur lesquelles il faut travailler? Absolument pas. I've been in environments where there was this approach to a crisis center. Crisis center could be linked to the services we already have. Our service providers for 911 is now the MRC des Collines. Those will be in contact with firefighters as stipulated by some of the participants tonight. But what about police? What about ambulances? What about other types of services that may be required in a situation of crisis that could occur when there is a shortcoming? There has to be more than just looking at the budget and the fact that we're taking charge of the service des incendies et la planification. Oui, les municipalités ont une grande responsabilité. Chacune des 18 doit avoir son plan d'intervention. Mais on met énormément d'emphase à la MRC sur le plan d'intervention d'incendie. What about other situations? We've gone through floods. Could there be tornadoes? Could there be some other natural elements that could have impacts on the safety and security of the population of Pontiac? Absolument. I keep hearing that we're going to make sure that Bell Canada and the CRTC work with us. Obviously, there are major players who have authorities in this field necessarily. And I've mentioned it myself. If we don't have the proper infrastructures in place, cellular, internet, and whatnot, companies will not come. But the safety as well of our population will be in jeopardy. It's not a negative comment that I'm making, but I think we have to refocus where we have to put some energy. It's nice to promise there's going to be a plan in the next year or so, but for the last 9 years, as per an article of the MRC, 5 situations have occurred. What took us so long? So I do intend in looking into this and making sure that we do have this type of a crisis approach. Yes, there are obligations by each of the municipalities, but the MRC will have to play the role of a coordinator and a better aiguilleur of the services that have an impact on the safety and security of the population. Thank you.
La sécurité des Pontissois est toujours une très, très grande préoccupation. Nos premiers répondants, qui sont toujours là, sont les pompiers et les policiers. Et on doit regarder à une meilleure coordination des pompiers et des policiers, mais on aurait beau avoir le plus beau plan d'intervention en cas de feu, en cas d'ouragan, en cas de glissement de terrain, d'inondation, si les communications ne peuvent se faire entre les différents corps, ça ne changera rien. I think that we really have a problem with the security in the Pontiac. I think everybody is aware of that. The first respondents are the fire department and the police. And if we could have the best first respondent, we could have the best plan that you could imagine in the Pontiac. If we cannot go through with our communication system, it doesn't matter how much money we put in the fire department, in the police department, in all the different projects that you could put on, we will not solve a problem. There is a lot of work that was done to try to solve the problem of those communication problems. We just had one maybe 2 weeks ago, 500 families without no communication. It's unacceptable. It was recognized by the government that the communication today are an essential service. There was a lot of work that was done in the MRC to try to make sure that we will never go through that again. But I think we have to beef up how we're going to not even ask the government, but tell everybody that it has to be done. I think, and I had an expression, maybe we need kind of pit bull that will follow the file and make sure that once it's organized, and then we'll have a very good service of first respondent, and we'll have all we need for have the coverage for our safety of the people of the Pontiac.
Donc, la portion des questions de la Chambre de commerce est terminée. On va prendre une petite pause de 10 minutes. Whoever wants to ask a question, you can form a line right here. We would ask that you name yourself before asking your question. You will have 45 seconds to ask your question. You can ask it directly to one of the candidates, but all the candidates would have a chance to answer your question.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Victoria. Voici Émilie, Anaïs, Myriam et Clara. Nous faisons partie de la brigade jeunesse. Nous sommes ici aujourd'hui pour représenter l'ensemble des élèves de l'école secondaire SIA de Coulonges.
Nous avons fait remplir un sondage aux élèves en demandant ce qu'il manquait le plus à la communauté des jeunes au Pontiac. 43% des répondants ont répondu qu'il manquait un cinéma ou un centre culturel. Mais 27% ont plutôt répondu que ce qui manquait le plus est un système de transport collectif.
Considérant ces chiffres, que proposez-vous pour améliorer la satisfaction des jeunes Pontissois à l'égard de leur communauté?
On va débuter avec M. Durocher.
Je pense que la question fondamentale au niveau du cinéma et du centre culturel, la MRC en partenariat avec 2 autres MRC, on l'a déjà amorcé les démarches il y a à peu près 7 mois. On connaît que l'année 2018, ça va être une nouvelle année parce qu'on va attirer un artiste ou 2 artistes avec la radio communautaire sur le territoire de la MRC du Pontiac. C'est de l'essentiel parce qu'on sait que lorsqu'on travaille, On veut s'amuser et un centre culturel et un cinéma est très, très important.
Okay. So I heard two priorities, transportation and cinema. Could I just ask quickly what the third priority was, or was it just those two? Control center? Oh, cultural center. Okay, and this is for the Pontiac, eh? Perfect. Okay, well, I agree that transportation is in need of improvement. And in terms of a theater, we do have one theater left in the Pontiac. It happens to be in Fort Collonge. Unfortunately, the Bryson Theater burned down. And that theater is amazing because we have a stage that could have live performances, and then we have an amazing concave screen. And the seats are in great condition. I think it seats about 200 people. And what I'd like to do is bring films from the Toronto International Film Festival. They'll send them for $35. We can see films that are eventually going to be, winning Academy Awards. And a cultural, and it could also encourage from your school some live performances on the stage. In terms of a cultural center, I know that there's been talk about Bryson House, but the library is there right now. So I will simply say to you that culture is very important for tourism and for our quality of life, and to involve the youth in the Pontiac. And as Préfet, I will make this a priority. Thank you.
Bonsoir, puis félicitations. Des jeunes gens qui se présentent à une assemblée où il y a du public comme ça, adulte, puis qui viennent nous amener une nouvelle vision. J'adore ça. Félicitations. Écoutez, vous êtes le futur, vous êtes la relève, hein, puis vos questions dans le sondage sont très appropriées. Je suis certain, les réponses, du moins, pour un cinéma et puis le transport collectif sont très à propos. À vos âges, quand moi j'y étais, évidemment, se divertir était très important. Hein, les études, c'est important. Travailler, c'est important. Évidemment, les jobs d'été, d'étudiants, des choses comme ça. Mais le cinéma est particulièrement un élément que j'adore. Donc, sur ce premier aspect-là, nécessairement, vous avez peut-être déjà entendu parler que l'année prochaine, il y aura un fameux festival sur le cinéma des femmes. Vous êtes toutes de jeunes filles. J'espère que ce type de cinéma-là va vous attirer. Je pense qu'il y a lieu d'avoir une continuité dans les travaux qui sont faits de ce côté-là pour assurer qu'il y ait au moins une salle de cinéma communautaire, adaptée, avec un type de cinéma qui va plaire à beaucoup de gens. Donc, si on peut rejoindre ce créneau-là que vous représentez, tant mieux. Moi, ce que je verrais, c'est que ce serait un centre communautaire ou un centre multifonctionnel. Je ne veux pas reprendre les expressions de Gatineau, là, mais multifonctionnel qui pourrait nous permettre d'avoir des places pour les arts, pour le cinéma et différentes autres fonctions. Transport collectif, il y a déjà un système en place, il y a déjà quelque chose qui existe de jour. Je suppose que votre transport collectif est plutôt adapté à la jeunesse. C'est ça? C'est à y penser. Je pense qu'il y aurait lieu d'avoir une expansion de services qui est permis en ce moment, mais pour des activités précises. Hein? Faut être focus. Donc, on peut y travailler, je suis certain. Merci, puis encore une fois, félicitations pour votre participation. Très bien.
Bonsoir, ça me fait plaisir. J'ai été un peu surprise quand je vous ai vu au début. Je me suis dit, oups, je ne suis pas sûre qu'ils ont le droit de voter, mais vos questions sont très pertinentes. Pour ce qui est du transport collectif, moi, je pense que ça va devenir une obligation qu'on ait du transport collectif pour les jeunes. Si on veut attirer des jeunes familles, il faut aussi que les jeunes puissent se voir, puissent se rencontrer dans différents endroits, et je pense que pour éviter qu'il y ait cet isolement de jeunes adolescents, le transport collectif. Pour ce qui est d'un centre culturel, ça aussi, c'est une priorité. C'est une priorité qu'on développe un centre culturel bilingue, avec une programmation francophone et une programmation anglophone. Vous savez que dans le Pontiac, on a plus que 80% de nos familles qui sont soit le mari ou la femme est francophone ou anglophone. Fait qu'on a besoin de garder cette capacité, et c'est assez unique dans les régions d'avoir cette richesse-là où les deux communautés se retrouvent et que ça devienne nos familles dans le Pontiac. Et ça me paraît comme étant important. What I'm saying, and I'll be very brief, that we need to have transport for the youth so that they could be together, meet together, and not be alone in their house because they have no transport. A cultural center, very important. 80% of our families are either one parent is French or English, and I think we could have both two sides of a program, one in French and one in English, to meet the needs of those families.
Bonjour. Félicitations à vous d'être ici avec nous. Quand j'étais un conseiller régional, on a créé une position, un cabinet des jeunes. Et le cabinet des jeunes a donné un conseil à notre conseil pour les besoins des jeunes. Et comme vous avez dit, vous avez un problème avec le transport communautaire. Peut-être ici, on a un système avec l'autobus pour les écoles. Peut-être on peut travailler sur un cabinet des jeunes pour vérifier les tarifs d'utiliser les autobus pour amener les jeunes à Gatineau peut-être ou à d'autres places. Et vous pouvez choisir quelle place vous voulez aller, et peut-être on peut négocier avec la compagnie de l'autobus. Briefly speaking, when I was in Ottawa, we created a cabinet of young people, which would give us advice and some of the things that they were actually needing. Some of the transportation needs here were isolated, and perhaps we could start looking at maybe negotiating, and as a federal contract negotiator, I know how to do a little bit of that, and to sit down with them and talk with the local bus companies that are taking our children to school to see if we could actually organize places that the young themselves could tell us that they would like to go, and then we could negotiate a price that perhaps we would enable the children and the teens to be able to go to places they would like to go. Merci. Merci.
That's good.
Yeah, it was good.
Kids, with kids.
Yeah.
Oui, bonsoir. Louis Hervé, citoyen de Mansfield. Je suis pontois depuis une trentaine d'années. Je vis en français, je travaille en français, je fais des affaires en français et j'organise des activités culturelles en français. La francophonie fait partie de ma vie et je communique aussi avec la communauté anglophone lorsqu'il est nécessaire. Alors, la francophonie, c'est aussi une force sociale, culturelle et économique. Donc, les affaires se passent aussi en français. Alors, ma question s'adresse, et j'ai réfléchi, mais s'adresse, puis je demanderai à Gaétan de bien venir traduire auprès de Mme Taylor, parce que j'ai une question en français à lui poser. Madame Taylor, je vais bien prononcer pour que vous puissiez...
S'il vous plaît, posez votre question. Votre temps est échu.
Alors, comment allez-vous répondre aux exigences du travail d'un préfet qui nécessite des exigences de bilinguisme et ce, immédiatement au début des fonctions comme préfet?
I understand. Je comprends. Yeah. Yes. Merci beaucoup pour cette question. Comme je l'ai dit, je suis engagée à devenir bilingue. J'ai fait du progrès. Je sais que je suis une personne d'énergie, remplie d'idées et des projets, et l'action parle plus fort que les mots. If I should need a translator, I will pay for that person out of my own pocket. I know in Quebec City there will be some meetings where I can't have a translator, but fortunately I can read very well in French, and I can also I can read it and I can understand it when I'm hearing it. I have only been working intensively with Mr. Viau for 1 month, but I will never put the Pontiac at any disadvantage because of language, never. And I also want to say that learning another language is possible for everyone, but being a person who can deliver results is not something you can learn, and I am that person. Thank you.
Il n'y a pas vraiment de questions pour une réponse des autres.
I'm Jim Coffey from Davidson, Quebec. And my question is that Canadian Nuclear Laboratories is considering a nuclear disposal site within 1 kilometer of the Ottawa River. Many constituents, as well as tourism businesses, are concerned about the well-being of our river, drinking water, as well as public health. In advocating to our MRC to oppose this project as it currently stands, at the first MRC meeting that I attended, I was told that this MRC will not be pressured by public opinion. 3 meetings later, the MRC passed a resolution opposing the CNL project as it stands, 12-6, with the village of Fort Coulonge not voting in favor of opposing the project. So what I'd like to ask everyone is, 1, do you have any thoughts or concerns? We'd like to find out about your feelings about the CNL project, which could leak or pollute our river. And secondly, if you're the warden of the MRC, how would you deal, or if our MRC doesn't accept public opposition or think of bending to public opposition or public opinion, then what does the MRC end up, or what does pressure the MRC to take action?
I'll take a shot at it, Jim. I'll start with the second part, the part with dealing with the issue itself and opposing, or public opposition, or not dealing well, I guess, with public opposition. I think the role of the MRC as a central agency, if I may say, if I may use it for all the municipalities, is to take a position. And to obviously, prior to officializing a position, to make sure that there's a consensus or at least a discussion, a dialogue, so that all points of view can be considered. Now, we do live in a democracy. We do appreciate the fact that there are going to be situations where people will be opposing the general views of the MRC. C'est normal. It's human. That's good. And that brings about solution to issues. So for me, the MRC has to deal with the public opposition, public opinion, in an enlightened way, une façon éclairée, avec toute l'information en main. So I'm not afraid of opposition. I'm basically open to discussion. And all discussion has to be done with respect. So I hope you did get that feeling, at least from the MRC, that the discussion may not have led to what you were hoping, but at least they were respectful. So, but I'm of that mind. The first part being the concerns about the whole issue and project. You and I as citizens do have questions because we don't know what's going to happen 100, 500, 400, 1,000 years from now and whatnot. But there are audiences of the Commission de Sécurité Nucléaire, I don't know how to say it in English, that are going to take place and that people are being invited to. Some have taken place and others will come. Those are elements that bring about, hopefully, solutions to the situation so that we can have a better position. Okay? But we're getting there. But I do have concerns, like any citizen of the Pontiac.
I think people know about my position. As far as I'm concerned, I object to what they're trying to do, and I won't say it loud enough. That river gives drinking water to 5 million people, starting from up where the river starts until Montreal. So, and how can we believe that the ones that are doing the evaluation for the dangerous of the site that they're proposing, it's the same one that is going to bury the garbage. So it's not an independent body that is doing the study to know if it's good or not what they're proposing. To me, The MRC is 18 municipalities. Those 18 municipalities represent the population of the Pontiac. They have a right to say if they agree with that or not. And we cannot say no to something that the population, if they start standing up and say, we don't want it, we have to listen. We may not like it. We might not say it's not what I think. I don't think it's that dangerous, or they'll take the precaution. But I think the voice belongs to the people of those 18 municipalities. And I'm opposed to what they're proposing as far as I'm concerned.
Moi aussi, j'oppose le proposal maintenant. One of my contracts was with the Canadian Environmental Network, and one of the things when I was on the council was our water quality in Ottawa, and we were instrumental in creating the position of the Ottawa River Keeper. And so my history goes back a long time in making sure that the quality of the water is right for our children and our grandchildren. One of the thoughts that I have immediately is that we have a member of parliament who is a federal member of parliament. He's an environmental lawyer, and he should be taking our lead in this to guide us through this process. We've given him our trust, and with his credentials and with his experience, I'm hoping that we can count on him to take the kind of public stand and take leadership and ownership of this. The other thing I would also say is that we also need an independent scientific eyes on this, and perhaps with some of the contacts that I have within the environmental communities, we can look at the possibilities. There's been a diminishment of the amounts of intervenor fundings, but in fact, this may come to a challenge at some point, because when you look at what they have proposed to us, that basically they're using different soil and rocks and they're going to bury it, and then that's supposed to be enough. I don't think so. We're in an earthquake zone. So I oppose it completely. Thank you.
Personally, in regards of what was happening and everything else, I am against the nuclear site, because we still, even if we have a dump site, they're going to import waste, radioactive waste, but we still have a major issue with the Chalk River site. Just in regards to the address, Fort-Coulonge did not vote against Monsieur Coffey. The question is, when you sit at the regional government, when you sit at the MRC, every elected official sits there as a regional board of administration, not for their own community. And I did not vote on the issue. The question, why, when you came first, and let's have the open discussion, when I said, and I said it, and I'm not afraid to say it, that we were not going to be pressured by public pressure, it's because there was a report be tabled within 2 weeks to all elected officials at the MRC to have an open discussion, and we did it in a plenary. The week after that, we did the vote. That's how it happened. It's not, we're not hiding issues, we just make decisions on clear issues. Because there's a lot of for, and there's a lot of against, and there's a lot of opinions. But like I said, at your first present, it's not one opinion. We have to have a consensus, and we have to know why we say yay or nay. But right now, the debate is not closed, because the motion that was tabled at the MRC says, for now, very simple facts, for now, if you can't change your plan or you can't propose anything, it's a no.
Well, I was happy to be sitting beside you when we saw the vote go to approve the current proposal, which is to oppose the CNL nuclear dump 1 kilometer from the Ottawa River. We know that, unfortunately, we have the highest cancer rates in Quebec, and there was a study done by Dr. Keon where he was tracing it to the Ottawa River. And I think that people have been upset for a long time about what the quality of the Ottawa River is, and this particular issue is giving us a reason to wake up and say something. As warden, if it's not good for the Pontiac, we're not doing it. And I also believe that we need to work with Ontario. We're sharing the same river, and it's now a heritage river, so more respect could be shown to it. The concern isn't just drinking. People are bathing in it as well. So what I'm concerned in particular about is the importing of the waste, the quality of the waste, and it's basically an open landfill site. And it could be Canada's first permanent nuclear waste disposal site. And, you know, they talk about a 300-year plan. Well, who's going to be around? We won't be, but generations related to us will be. And we have to be thinking much further than that. So I support a technical science-based analysis. The results are going to be known supposedly in 2018. I don't think there's any rush for this decision, and we have to take this very seriously.
Hi, my name is Helen Routliff. I'm a resident of Mansfield, Quebec. My question pertains to the youth. I have 4 children, they're grown adults now, and they all left the Pontiac, and I want to know what you're going to do to encourage the youth to stay here in the Pontiac and build.
Thank you for that question. So you're right. Currently, many of our youth are going to Gatineau, and also from Calumet Island, a lot of youth are going to Pembroke because they go to the French school there. Nos jeunes sont la garantie de notre avenir. Nous devons trouver des moyens d'assurer l'avenir de nos jeunes dans le Pontiac. I have a plan which I believe is realistic. Today, the English youth attend Heritage College in Shawville or Campbell's Bay to fulfill their CEGEP requirements. I propose a French-speaking CEGEP in the Pontiac. This would mean that families would not have to spend $10,000 or more to send children who, in some cases, are too young to be going to Gatineau. C'est un fait qu'à travers le Canada, les métiers sont une source d'emploi majeur. There exist other trade colleges in Quebec which offer a variety of training for specific employment. The trades is where jobs are across Canada. I'm proposing a trades college in the Pontiac, not just in one place, but for example, welding would be at Magnaloom. We have the chef school in Fort Collonge. There could be auto mechanics, nursing, accounting, forestry, mining, because we have mines coming, and agriculture. Another part of the plan is to encourage our youth to remain in the Pontiac by partnering with Pontiac businesses, and this is something that I will champion as warden. It will be very effective. It gives the youth a chance to work in a stage for a couple of months, whether it's banking, insurance, farming, and accomplishes 2 purposes. They have a chance to see if this is the right career, and it could lead to a job. Thank you.
We have a trade school right now that the school board is talking about reopening right here in Camas Bay, that the MRC fought for many years to open, and because of lack of student was closed. Now they're talking about reopening. And the question of an economic argument that was deposited last week in Quebec City, one of the criteria is trades. We have a lot of schools right now that are getting empty and emptier. We could bring in people for trades in the Pontiac, and those trades are going to be needed in the near future in the Pontiac. The question of building the future on our youth is very, very important. The reality is we have to fit in and prove to them that the criteria are needed locally, and we have to work with the school boards, because one trade is an operating ticket to give out the course, but not every school board has those same tickets. Talking about welding, we have welding course very efficient in the municipality of Shawville, and it's going strong, and it's been going strong for quite a few many years. Now, can we associate welding, and I do agree with Madame Toller for once in my life, that maybe working with the welding and with Magnolium and local industry, we could create more. The momentum is we have to build case scenario. Economic argument that was deposited in Quebec City is that. Backwards. We're going backwards.
We're going backwards? Thank you. It was you that made us go backwards. Oh. Okay, first of all, having our youth stay here, I think it's a three-layered plan. I think, first of all, one of the first things that we need to do is shore up our existing workers. And I can only speak from an anecdotal standpoint, but with my husband being so ill and frequently at the Chauvel Hospital, my frequent question would be, where do you live? And 3-4 years ago, I was getting, well, I live in Bryson, I live in Campbell's Bay. Now, and more, I'm getting, they're living in Gatineau and they're living in Ottawa. So it's beginning to look like somehow we need to start looking at how we're going to make sure that if the jobs are here, that the people from here are actually having those jobs. The other thing I would like to see happen is also making it better for the people who are commuting to the different centres, especially Ottawa. The 148 is an amazing mess at the moment with the construction and the amounts of delays, 35 minutes one direction, another 35 at night. That is adding like more than an hour travel, and environmentally this isn't sound, and so we're making it more and more difficult for our workers. Because I'm from Ottawa, I'm going to challenge a little bit about the idea that we need to create more and more jobs here. One of the things is if you live in Ottawa and you live in Orleans and you work in Canada, you're spending an hour and a half or 2 hours on the Queensway in the wintertime if it's bad weather anyway. You can actually get to the Pontiac. I think we have an incredible economic giant immediately adjacent to us in Arnprior and in Cobden and in Pembroke, and that we need to maximize and make it easier for our people to actually get those jobs, and I think I know how to do that, and I would thank you for that time. I'm running out. Thank you.
To keep our kid in the Pontiac. $10,000 question. I think that the first thing we have to do is open whatever training facility we have and invite kids from outside to come and train with our kids. The problem, every time we open a program, we never, you need at least 15 or 16 or 17 kids. And you get up to 10, and then you have to fight with the government because you don't only have 10. We had some kids that went training for the mines in Rouyn-Noranda. Why couldn't we have kids come here? That means we need two things. We need the training facilities, which we have a couple of those, and we need a place where those kids could stay, either in families or type of apartment with a couple that would take care of those kids are usually 15, 16, or 17 to ensure. And there's no reason that it wouldn't work because we have very good teachers that can provide the training, and it's recognized right now as being a very good training every time we can have a course going on. Pour que les enfants puissent rester dans le coin, on manque d'enfants. Et je pense qu'on pourrait inviter des jeunes de l'extérieur pour venir se former chez nous. On a eu nos jeunes qui sont allés se former en Abitibi pour les mines, mais pourquoi nous, on ne pourrait pas avoir des jeunes qui nous arrivent de l'extérieur en offrant de l'hébergement pour qu'on puisse avoir les quotas requis pour donner la formation nécessaire? Merci.
I'll try to expand on my colleagues' view of youth. Yes, education is growth. I was the one that raised it at the GTI meeting where I was saying to some of the participants at this table that basically the Commission scolaire des Hauts-Bois was not present, Cégep de l'Outaouais was not present or invited to be at the table, but that Heritage and Western Quebec were there. I felt that half of the partners in the education field were not there, but no one woke up and decided to do something about it, except when I raised it. So for me, education is one. We do have a professional center for training that's going to reopen and be more productive in that sense. There's $20,000 of budget that I have heard that was provided to Heritage already that has been boosted by another $70,000 for the next year. So we do have a good and enviable on-site Heritage College courses being provided, and they're expanding on the fields they're going to be working on. So that's great news, but we're missing partners for all of our youth. Les entrepreneurs, the business partners, GTI is an example, but I mentioned les caisses populaires, they do have money set aside for young entrepreneurs. So for me, youth is not necessarily only people of the age of education, but also ones that could get into a new company or launch their own enterprises. CLX is doing that. And the UPA has incentive for young producers to start their businesses in the agroalimentaire. An incitative that could be easy would be tax reductions for the first buyers of houses in different municipalities. That's possible too. For a youth, a young couple, a young family, those are good incentives. For me, youth has a larger view than just 15, 17. Okay?
Steve Huggins. In response to the last Chamber of Commerce question, Pierre, are you willing to focus on related responders' financial allocations outside the MRC for a complete economic picture of the costs involved in emergency and communications?
When I mentioned it before that, is that I think whoever is going to be elected, and obviously if it's going to be me, so I'm going to have to look into this more in depth because I need to get familiar with what I see and what's missing. And what I was proposing is basically a crisis center that has an overall holistic approach to the safety and security of the population necessarily. So different interveners that are not already partners with us at the table of the MRC, we need to be contacted. Now, some of us have said, we don't know if we're going to have tornadoes, inundation or whatnot, but we have to plan for the worst in order to be prepared to act appropriately. So action is in the planning and looking forward and contacting now the proper entities that will need to help us build a plan that will make sense. People might not like the word plan, but if we don't have that vision or that view of what is required, then we're going like all over the place. And I feel that at this point, there's some pieces of a larger puzzle that are not there. So my intent is obviously to move forward into that sense and look at what are the missing pieces and how much it's going to cost. And probably as well, look at how we can partner with people that could invest in situations like these to help us. Okay?
Thank you very much. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you, candidates. My name is Raymond. I'm spokesperson for the Green PPJ Vert, and I welcome this opportunity to ask you this question. As other MRCs in large cities like Montreal, Ottawa, and Toronto are working very hard to encourage safe cycling within their community since they've recognized the economic, the health benefits, and the environmental benefits of cycling by developing paths for cyclists. As warden, what steps would you take to help to promote and protect the PPJ, which is, as you know, part of La Route Verte, which we receive funding for? Please feel free to answer in French or in English. Thank you very much.
Très important, une bonne question au niveau du développement touristique. PPJ, the PPJ Trail, Route Verte in the Pontiac is a very important aspect of tourism. Yeah, we have funding now, but we had lost the funding also, and we reaped the benefits of not having that funding a couple of years back. The question right now in the reality of the PPJ, and I know some of local communities are working closely with the MTQ to make bicycle path available in local municipality. The biggest challenge we have for the Pontiac is to connect. We have a nice corridor, nice green corridor, the PPJ. Now we have to connect that corridor with the rest of the world because we're short. We're 90 kilometers and we're proud of it, but we should connect it to Ontario and we could connect it to the city of Gatineau in a better way than it is right now. In that aspect of talking tourism, we also have to find a solution for a multi-use trail in the Pontiac and connect 18 communities. And these 18 communities in regards to ATVs and snowmobilers, because this creates momentum. We had that discussion, didn't totally work right, but a lot of opinions. But that has to be tabled and find a solution. But build on the PPG, the reality, and the best for the communities.
It concerns me that the MRC never put the topic of the PPJ and the question of multi-use. They never voted on it. And so what I would advocate as warden is to hold a meeting in every municipality. You know, we have to get back to holding town hall meetings for things like presentations of budget. Anytime there's an important issue, we've got to ignite the local voice. And I feel that as much as I have a bicycle, I've enjoyed the PPJ, I can look at it from a few perspectives through tourism compared to the bike path that goes from Montreal to Mont-Tremblant, where they had 1 million participants. We're far short of that. And I also hear from a lot of providers of tourism that the cyclists who come are just using their washrooms and maybe getting a bottle of water. And so the concern is we want to build tourism that is going to contribute to our economy and create jobs. So going back to the need for a vote, we'll hold a meeting in every municipality, give the people of the Pontiac a chance to say how they feel, so that I'm interested in looking at what the majority of people in the Pontiac want, not just being guided always by tourists. Thank you.
C'est intéressant de voir qu'on prendrait des votes dans différentes municipalités. Sur 18, ça risque d'être long. Les grands partenaires dans cette initiative-là de la PPG verte, nécessairement, veulent avoir un environnement qui est sécuritaire. Ça, je le comprends bien. Mais ces grands partenaires-là sont en ce moment dans l'organisation d'événements. Il y en a eu encore la fin de semaine passée à l'île du Grand Calumet, il y en a eu d'autres auparavant. Donc, il y a des partenaires qui sont intéressés au développement de la chose, sont intéressés par la sécurité de la chose aussi, nécessairement. Comment est-ce qu'on peut aller chercher des fonds ou aller chercher une meilleure contribution du milieu privé, milieu secteur public, etc.? C'est une question qu'il faut se poser. On a déjà des gens à l'interne de la MRC qui travaillent là-dessus, entre autres l'initiative Vélo sympathique. C'est quand même pas rien, là. C'est quelque chose qui fait que la MRC a travaillé dessus avec ses experts et les partenaires pour pouvoir en arriver à des projets intéressants pour le cyclisme et en lien la piste cyclable nécessairement. Le multifonctionnel, jusqu'à preuve du contraire, n'est pas quelque chose qui semble fonctionner. Question de sécurité, de partage, de tout ce qui s'ensuit. Est-ce qu'il faut être fermé à ça? Non. Mais est-ce qu'il faut quand même regarder s'il n'y a pas d'initiative directe maintenant qui nous permettrait d'attirer des gens, en fait, touristes de l'extérieur et même, évidemment, des Pontois et Pontoisoises amenés à faire de l'activité physique? Je vous donne le grand Mondo, le fameux défi Pierre Lavoie. Pourquoi est-ce qu'on n'organiserait pas un type de course de ce genre-là, un événement interrégional, provincial, national, qui ferait la promotion justement de notre super piste PPJ et d'autres événements sur des routes pontoisoises? Ce serait merveilleux.
Moi, je pense que la piste cyclable et une piste multifonctionnelle, c'est important si on veut développer le tourisme. Je pense que le tourisme pour le Pontiac est un des volets économiques les plus importants. Quand on sait qu'il y a des villes qui mettent des millions pour attirer le tourisme, ça veut dire que c'est créateur d'emplois. Pour arriver à avoir une piste cyclable que les gens vont apprécier, vont utiliser au maximum. Moi, il m'apparaît qu'il y a deux choses, puis tous les commentaires que j'ai pu recevoir. La première, c'est une piste cyclable qui est complétée, qui est maintenue, qui est en ordre, où il y a des toilettes, où c'est organisé, puis une ouverture vers l'Ontario et la ville de Gatineau. À ce moment-là, on vient d'ouvrir un bassin de population. Pour ce qui est de la piste multi, qui touche les 4 roues et les skidoo, ça, je pense que c'est bon pour le tourisme, mais ça ne va pas avec le vélo. Et je pense que c'est aussi un dossier qui doit être mené de pair parce que c'est beaucoup de tourisme. Les 4 roues et de plus en plus, les 4 roues, même l'hiver, c'est utilisé. What I'm saying is that the bicycle path is very important for tourism, but there's two things that has to be done. It has to be kept very good and secure and open up to Ontario and Gatineau, which brings a lot of people. As far as the skidoo is concerned and the bikes, the trail bikes, I think that's all. I think it's important, but it doesn't go with the biking. You can be bicycling and having a skidoo going around or whatever. No, you don't do bicycle in the winter, but anyway, I understand what I was saying.
I have experience with this, having had an area which immediately adjacent beside the Ottawa River. We created, because we had a system, we created an organization called Pathway Patrols. What we had is we had many areas where they were unsafe or where there were too much overgrown trees or things like that, or there were actually accidents. So way back in 1994, we created a system called Pathway Patrols. We began to provide walkie-talkies, first aid, training in CPR, and we started to have an integrated system that would also cross across the Ottawa River and connect with Gatineau. So this actually really advanced cycling in Ottawa way back in the 90s. We went from there, we actually started to close the Ottawa River Parkway so that families would come out in great numbers. So part of protecting and advancing the use of bicycles, I've had that experience. At the same time, I also believe that we need to look at a multi-use possibility. I think we need to have a frank discussion. I think we need to come out with something that is will boost the economy, and certainly this is a very great possibility for tourist activities. There are so many cottagers up here, and why wouldn't they want to jump on the trails and go to various different places that they can. And I go back to the old days when you used to see in Quio, all the snowmobilers would be out on the roads and you'd have 100 snowmobiles out in front of the various establishments there. So I think we need to look at the economic impact. We need to have the facts. And I would open a discussion on that. Thank you.
Bonsoir, bonsoir. James Azola, de l'île du Grand Calumet. Bon, voilà, je vous ai entendu élaborer très éloquemment comment est-ce que vous parliez de la sécurité. Bon, concrètement, qu'est-ce que vous avez en vous mettre ou qui existe, qui est en place? Nous savons déjà que de plus en plus, les catastrophes humanitaires sont de plus en plus violentes. Et avec ce Chalk River, s'il arrive une catastrophe comme au Japon, qu'est-ce qui est en place pour les résidents ici? Et puis la deuxième question est de savoir, avec le truc de l'agriculture, n'est-ce pas? On dit que c'est la zone verte. Et puis je vois derrière chez moi, il y a un trou qui est aussi grand qu'un terrain de soccer. Alors qu'on ne peut pas permettre à un propriétaire qui a sa ferme de faire quelque chose dans sa terre, mais on peut permettre les prospections dans nos terres. Qu'est-ce que vous en dites?
La première question, il semble avoir deux volets à votre question, là. Je suis un peu confus. Le premier volet, on en a déjà parlé, c'est à propos de la sécurité publique. J'ai donné mon point de vue, mes collègues aussi. Donc, je ne sais pas ce que vous voulez voir ajouter, James.
Quand on parle de la sécurité publique, c'est vaste. Mais si on faut envoyer les pompiers, s'il y a catastrophe ici, oui, qu'est-ce que vous faites? Et puis c'est comment?
Mais c'est ce que, du moins, mes collègues et moi avons expliqué.
C'est une question qui a déjà été discutée. Les réponses.
Peut-être que je la comprends mal ou mes collègues la comprennent mieux que moi, mais il y a déjà des choses en place. J'en ai énuméré tantôt, des plans d'intervention, différents éléments d'incendie, les premiers soins, le 911, premiers répondants, les policiers, etc. Puis mes collègues ont repris ces thèmes-là. Je ne veux pas parler pour eux. Mais en contrepartie, ça, c'est en place. Ce que j'ai dit personnellement, moi, c'est qu'en 9 ans, s'il y a eu des situations particulières, 5 fois, où la sécurité du public a été mise en cause, je me demande pourquoi il n'y a pas eu d'expansion dans les différents types d'interventions ou de plans à mettre en place. Là, on parle de catastrophes écologiques, catastrophes humanitaires de grande envergure, etc. Pour moi, je ne les vois pas. Chaque municipalité a ses responsabilités à ce sujet-là, nécessairement. mais il faut qu'il y ait une coordination centrale pour essayer de couvrir le plus de buts et de situations possibles. Ça, c'est ma vision de ce sujet-là, James. Je ne sais pas si ça répond à votre question. Le deuxième élément, vous parliez de prospection. Prospection, c'est un land claim. People do have the right to do prospection on a private entity if the entity approves that there be evaluation or prospection on it. That basically I cannot expand on. I'm not too sure exactly what you're looking at.
Parce qu'il y a des prospections qui se font dans le Pontiac et parfois sans autorisation, sans avoir consulté les propriétaires.
Le drapeau rouge où j'ai monté, je veux pas parler pour mes collègues, mais la prospection est une entreprise privée nécessairement, puis en collaboration avec certaines entités municipales, vont informer la population. Mais ça peut être du one-on-one avec un privé, un propriétaire privé et une compagnie qui veut faire de l'évaluation de prospection. Cette information-là, en prévention avec les autres propriétaires des entourages, doit se faire par la compagnie privée, par le propriétaire du terrain. La municipalité est intéressée et va collaborer là-dessus. Mais c'est des éléments de responsabilité privée, James.
Merci.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to overstep your boundaries or anything, guys.
Non, mais d'accord.
Okay.
Moi, je viens de Fort-Coulon, je suis Denis Soucy, puis j'étais un forestier. Puis j'ai toujours resté dans le Pontiac. Puis moi, mon opinion, à vous écouter les 5 à soir, on devait travailler avec ce qu'on a dehors. C'est l'agriculture. On a des femmes qui dorment. Quand moi, j'étais jeune, il y avait beaucoup de femmes. Puis on devait concentrer les jeunes qui recommencent les femmes qui dorment, parce qu'on a des bonnes femmes fertiles. Puis la foresterie, on a tout le bois ici. Puis moi, je voyais tout le bois sorti du Pontiac. Puis tous les jobs donnés à Maniwaki et Mont-Laurier. Puis c'est ça, je me demande, le prochain préfet, qu'est-ce qu'il va faire avec ça? Mon opinion, il devrait concentrer avec ce qu'on a, là, comme je l'ai dit, l'agriculture et la foresterie. Puis tout les problèmes que le monde ils ont parlé à soir, ça va se résoudre parce qu'il va y avoir des jobs.
Je vais commencer.
Juste un instant, on va commencer par Mme Lécuyer.
Ouais. Je vais commencer avec la ferme. Vous avez raison, on a plein de fermes. Et c'est évident qu'à partir du moment où les concours à la préfecture sont complétés, je pense que c'est important qu'on s'assoie avec les producteurs agricoles, qu'on s'assoie avec l'UPA et qu'on regarde de quelle façon on peut rendre disponibles les terres agricoles, soit des familles pour des fermes familiales. As far as the farming community is concerned, I think it's important that when I be elected warden, that we sit with the UPA and the farming community and look at how can we dispose towards young families that wants a family farm and get them organized on those farms. Pour ce qui est de la forêt, on sait tous qu'il y a une grosse problématique au niveau de la forêt. On sait tous qu'actuellement, notre bois qui est sorti puis sert à faire des 2x4 puis des 4x4. On a une forêt les plus riches quasiment du Québec en essences variées et en qualité. Et je pense que c'est important qu'on s'assoie avec les gens qui ont une expertise dans la forêt. Puis quand je parle des gens du coin, là. Qu'on s'assoie avec ces gens-là et qu'on regarde avec des gens qui utilisent du bois autre que des 2x4, qu'est-ce qui peut être fait avec les essences et les bois que nous avons dans le Pontiac. Ce qu'on n'a jamais pris le temps de voir, parce qu'on a du bois de qualité superbe et je suis convaincue qu'actuellement, plus ça va, plus les gens utilisent le bois dans les constructions, pas pour faire des cadres de portes, là, mais pour des meubles et des choses comme ça. Merci. Et c'est les producteurs qui vont nous le dire.
Moi aussi, j'ai travaillé dans le secteur agriculturel. Ottawa a 300 000 acres de terrain agriculture. Il emploie 10 000 personnes dans le secteur d'agriculture et il y a 1300 fermes opérer à Ottawa, dans la ville d'Ottawa. One of the things that I have is experience working with farmers, because when the amalgamation happened, the city of Ottawa was now forced to integrate with many of the larger sectors that now had 300,000 acres of farmland within the boundaries of the city of Ottawa. And there was a lot of concern at the time that the agricultural community would be lost in such a thing. But we had to go out, we had to listen to them, we had to work with them, we had to shore up their business, and they are businesses, and they create a lot of, they're an economic engine, and their most important one in the MRC de Pontiac. And so to have someone who is sensitive and has worked with and has a history to work with agricultural producers and understands a farmer. My family settled in the 1820s in this area. They were farmers. I still consider myself a farmer's granddaughter, and that is one of the reasons why I returned here. And I would like to be one of your proponents, and as a warden, I would love to work with you and very much safeguard and protect many of the issues that you face and advocate for you at the different levels. Thank you.
La question de l'agriculture, c'est une des questions les plus importantes sur le territoire de la MRC du Pontiac. Agriculture. But what did we do for agriculture? 2014, the MRC adopted a PDZA, Plan de développement de zone agricole. We associated ourselves with another MRC, Brom-Missisquoi, talking about Banque de Terre. And today, it's a provincial-wide artère, assuring that young people could come back to the homeland or work the land and create jobs on the territory. This has been ongoing for the last 4 years. Talking about forestry, we've been accused we're not doing so much, or we're seeing the wood leaving. We have a project on the table right now. We have a company, a nonprofit company called Fiber Pontiac. In open discussion, you could say there's a lot of money invested in that, but Fiber Pontiac took a mandate from the MRC 2013 where we couldn't handle it anymore, is what? Is creating forestry, creating a market, a new way, innovation in forestry. Read the paper. A lot of things are happening in the Pontiac in regards to forestry. Yes, we want the jobs, but in regards of talking about agriculture and forestry, we also, I have the document, an economic argument. Very simple. We'll have to fill the void with a lot of people with training. We could compare CVB or the biomass project to Bartlett, but I could tell you something. The only thing the MRC did with Bartlett is have a motion saying supporting like we do with everybody. We support entrepreneurship on the territory.
Yes. In terms of unused farmland, we have two advantages. We have a lot of agricultural land, though, that's not used. The price is very affordable. We need to attract young farmers. MAPAC could do a lot more. They could help with business plans, and they could arrange some mentoring with experienced farmers. About 15 years ago, there was a very special program here in the Pontiac, and some of our most efficient producers went through that. So just like MRC Papineau, as warden, I will ask for a special status so that we can lift some of the regulations that are restricting us right now in farming to do with zonage and environment. And another thing the MRC could do, they could find land to set up some model farms where equipment could also be provided, and the young farmers would pay rent for this. And we could share some collective systems like washing, refrigeration, and such. I'd like to say a few things about forestry. The biomass is exciting, but the biomass is cleaning up the forest. And I believe the Pontiac needs to get back into forestry in a big way. Why? Because for generations, we were, the Pontiac, known all over the world for lumbering. And in my opinion, the Portage Mill should never have closed, and there was no effort to reopen it. It was projected to make $60 million the next year. What I'd like to see us do is actually work with Renfrew County, because they are looking for someone to partner with a pulp mill, and we could find international investors.
Sorry, your time is up, Mrs. Toller.
Okay. If you'd like to hear the rest of my plans, I'll speak to you later.
Yeah.
Monsieur Soucy, je vais vous répondre en français. Votre question est en français. Donc, je suis un ancien directeur général, moi, d'un syndicat des producteurs de bois Outaouais-Laurentides. Le territoire couvrait Maniwaki, j'allais jusqu'à Portage, puis je m'en allais jusqu'à La Chute. Le bois, je connais ça. Le bois, j'y ai travaillé. C'était de la peu mise en marché. L'époque des pâtes mécaniques et chimiques est plus ou moins révolue. C'est difficile en ce moment. Il y a des projets qui sont d'envergure que la MRC a investi dedans, le gouvernement, qui vont amener ce que vous dites, l'utilisation de choses qui dorment. La biomasse, là, c'est de la glycine, c'est différents types de fabrication, c'est différentes utilisations du bois, beaucoup plus grandes que qu'est-ce qu'on avait déjà. Fait que c'est déjà un pas en avant, c'est déjà plus positif que qu'est-ce qu'on avait avant. C'est de travailler maintenant à s'assurer que la mise en marché va pouvoir nous fournir les résultats escomptés. Ça va venir. On attend des rapports des experts à ce sujet-là, mais il y a du positif là-dedans. Fait que pour un gars qui a travaillé dans les différents environnements syndicaux de bois, je connais de quoi je parle. Et moi aussi, c'est un des éléments dans ma vision de développement économique, travailler sur la forêt et l'agroagriculture. Toutes les municipalités au printemps passé là, ont fait un exercice de îlot déstructuré. C'était en support avec le travail à la MRC et le gouvernement de l'agriculture, nécessairement, pour pouvoir permettre aux municipalités de désengorger des îlots de terre qui n'étaient pas utilisés. Ça pourrait permettre justement la vente de ces terrains-là à de nouveaux producteurs ou des producteurs existants. L'UPA a des incitatifs pour les nouveaux producteurs. Pourquoi qu'on ne travaille pas avec ces gens-là pour travailler sur le forestier, mais aussi sur l'agriculture? Moi, en tant que tel, nécessairement, 27,3 millions d'argent qui rentrent dans le secteur de l'agriculture au Pontiac, c'est important, comme ce l'est pour la foresterie. Je vais y travailler.
Bonsoir, mon nom c'est Jacques Letendre de Waltham.
Juste vous dire que ça va être la dernière question. OK. Merci.
OK, mais ça va être une bonne, par exemple.
OK.
Mais avec les autres collègues à l'arrière, on pourra avoir des discussions après. Par contre.
Rapidement, là, je vais vous donner respectueusement un petit cours de réalité 101 dans mon village, que ça veut dire la piste cyclable. C'est 7 cyclistes qui passent dans une journée, dans un été. Ils arrêtent au dépanneur, ils demandent la permission pour remplir leur bouteille d'eau dans le robinet
ça, c'est
extérieur.
une question, par exemple, qu'on a déjà discutée.
Bon, OK. Alors, on a entendu beaucoup de monde. Les attentes sont grandes. Il y a une chose que je fais le constat, moi, personnellement, c'est que ça ne va pas bien dans le Pontiac. Et seul un grand leader saura renverser la situation. Et il y a une chose que tous les grands leaders ont en commun, c'est une vision. Et une vision qui s'énonce clairement en peu de mots avec un plan d'action concret. Moi, c'est là-dessus que je vais prendre ma décision. Merci.
Ceci est la dernière question.
Stand by.
OK.
I live in Gatineau, and I bought some properties up here 20 years ago when the trail was supposed to be coming through. I was told by the government that, oh, it's on the way, so I bought a couple of abandoned buildings in the village here, planning to make a little bed and breakfast or a coffee shop or something. And you know what happened? It got blocked down at Luskville. Most people don't know that, eh? They wonder why there's 3 cyclists on the trail. It's because it's blocked between Couillon and Elmer. The mayor and the councillors and half the city down there, the lawyers, everybody involved, bought the tracks and said, screw you, go somewhere else. So your trail is sitting here with no access. The front
Please
door
ask
is
your
locked.
question, sir.
Well, I think it's what are you going to do to solve that problem? I call it the Great Luskville Railway Robbery. Okay? Because the one in Montreal is making 1 million visitors. That's $100 million if everybody drops $100. If we had 100,000, that's like 500 a day all through the season. You know what that means in money in restaurants? And when I hear people say that cyclists, you know, they come in and they want a glass of water. I have the
Okay, so
impression
the question is?
some people would rather give a dog water
Sir?
than a bicyclist. What are you going to do about it?
Charlotte? C'est pour le... OK.
Vous attendez. Oups. Il était fait. I think that we have to sit with Gatineau and with Luxville and tell them they have no choice, because that's a decision. We are the first kilometer of the green highway and I think we have to be very affirmative as far as I'm concerned. Everybody's going into election. We're going to have new people. And we have to keep at it and keep at it until somebody will have to say yes. We must not stop. And I don't agree with lawyers or stuff like that. I think we have to sit with those people, make them understand, and go and get all the bikers, the bicycle people from all over Ottawa, Gatineau, behind us, plus the ones here, which we never did.
But the reality of connecting to the city of Gatineau is very simple. The corridor that was existing in the MRC La Colline, where Luxville and the councillor decided to stop it, in regards, right now, the best discussions are already happening is with the MTQ to widen the corridor on the 148 to use as a bicycle path to connect, because the other path doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, but it's under private ownership. Okay.
Okay. Je pense qu'on a déjà discuté. We've discussed this before, the PPG, and so do we take one more? Just one more.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good. What are your plans to create jobs? Can anybody answer that question? Mr. Stoller.
My number one priority is jobs, jobs, jobs. Cette responsabilité incombe d'abord à la MRC. Si élu préfet de la MRC, je rechercherai activement des investisseurs dans tous les secteurs d'affaires. J'ai les connexions nécessaires au niveau des affaires et du gouvernement. Aidons d'abord nos commerces existants et encourageons de nouveaux projets locaux. Also, what I'd like to refer to is I see a great future in construction. Some of our municipalities are not equal with infrastructure. This needs to be addressed, our water wastewater system. So we will have construction jobs, and we will also be building residents for seniors housing in all municipalities. I had a job forum action plan last week, and 65 people came, and we looked specifically at new jobs which will be created by forestry, mining, which is Waltham and Calumet, agriculture, and the plan to educate and employ the youth of the Pontiac. Thank you.
I feel obliged to repeat myself, so no, I'm just wanted to add a few things. Well, I think we've touched a lot of issues that are related to jobs. We can overpromise, underdeliver. That's always a fault that any human being can go through it once in their life. So I wouldn't want to be that one for an MRC warden. So I'm not going to give you any flower power type of answer necessarily, but I've already indicated some elements that are of interest. It's nice to have forums, but it's nice to have the proper individuals at the right place at the right moment. De GTI, de FAR, de UPA, de SILEX, de Caisse des Jardins, all of those, because they are important, are partners in creating jobs. Even the Chambre de Commerce, the participants in the Chambre de Commerce, are equal partners as well, because they have already an involvement in creating jobs. They must have good ideas, and I'm sure that they share it at the GTE. So there's plenty of opportunities for us to have a chance at getting new people in, or looking at what we can build inside. If you're looking at a vision, as the gentleman was saying, I can put it in 6 words, no problem. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be me as warden alone that's going to make it happen. It's going to be all of us necessarily. And with the help of those structures that I talked about and the professionals that can make the contacts and help us in that. So if you're looking for a perfect answer, there's none. But do you want somebody that can move things around? For sure. Vote for me, sir. So do I have your vote? C'est la dernière question. Je sais pas.
Non, mais on a plus le temps pour les questions.
On fait? Okay. I'll start with tourism, because I think that is the biggest change that we could do. And sometimes it doesn't mean that we have to build buildings, but the first thing is that the bridge, le pont marchand, that has to be renovated et embellir. C'est un des coins touristiques les plus attirants qu'on peut avoir dans ce coin-là. L'autre, c'est faire la création avec les acteurs du milieu, ça veut dire les différentes personnes qui sont dans le tourisme, de circuits d'1 jour ou 2 jours. Un jour, ça veut dire je vais vous donner un exemple, on avait des autobus qui venaient de Perth en fin de semaine de l'Octoberfest. Ces gens-là auraient pu rester accouchés pour aller visiter les chutes. Et c'est ce qu'on appelle des circuits touristiques. Ça veut dire que ça aurait été 42 personnes qui auraient couché dans le Pontiac, qui auraient déjeuné dans le Pontiac. Avez-vous une idée? 3 autobus de cette nature-là, ça veut dire qu'on a besoin de l'hébergement, on a besoin de guides touristiques. Ça fait 1 jour, 2 jours. Assurer d'avoir des activités qui couvrent 4 saisons. Tu fais connaître une région parce que tu as des activités le printemps, l'été, l'automne, l'hiver. On a déjà plusieurs activités. Il s'agit de les faire, de les ramasser puis de les mettre ensemble pour que les gens puissent faire la publicité concernant ces circuits-là. Et on me dit que j'ai plus de temps.
We keep hearing about jobs and jobs and jobs in the Pontiac, but one of the things I'm a great believer in having the facts. When I went into the MRC Pontiac to ask questions about the number of electors, they said, well, between 13,000 and 14,000. I said, okay, how many of them are actually retired individuals? How many are children? Oh, well, they said maybe there's half children. I don't think there's half children in the Pontiac. So I said, well, perhaps we have 4,000 children, so 9,500 people. How many of them are retired? I would think half. So there's 4,500. How many of the 4,500 people are actually going to jobs in different places, whether they're going over to Pembroke, whether they're going to Cobden, whether they're going to Onprior? I want to know how many people are actually looking for jobs. I want the facts. Before we start, well, one person put up her hand, someone hire her, please. The thing of it is we need to know how many people are actually looking for work. We need to know what kind of an education level that they have, what kind of jobs are they looking for, and what are they suited in. And then once we have the facts, then we could go about trying to see if we can break this down and have identifiable targets, instead of talking vaguely in these rooms about how people are going to bring this person or this company in. The companies don't come. I know this from working on economic development in Ottawa. They come for very specific workforces. We have to be able to prove the business case that we have the workers here and that we can fill these positions with the people that they would need to fill them, and that we have an able workforce that's trained. Thank you.
The very important aspect is everybody says the warden is going to do this and the warden is going to do that, but yes, a warden must be a leader, must put documents on the table to make sure that But the warden does not decide. The warden defends, approach, build case scenario. 18 elected officials around one table decides. And if they say yay, it's a yay deal. If they say no, it's a no deal. Everybody wants a better tomorrow. Everybody wants to strive for better options. We all agree. We all want jobs. I want jobs to start. I want to grow. I want to prosper. I'm from the Pontiac, and I want to stay in the Pontiac. The question is, there is a plan. There's a lot of people, that's our difficulty. We know where we want to go, but a lot of people, we don't stand together and build on a plan. 5 niches, 5 créneaux d'excellence à MRC de Pontiac, public consultation, agriculture, forestry, commerce et industrie, tourisme, culture socio-communautaire. Doesn't stop there. We need better infrastructure, telecommunications, cell phone, a better highway coming into the Pontiac. That's what we need. But we also have other responsibility, waste management, public security, fire department integration, Capsule West, an argument, economic argument. That's what we have to build on. But we have to work all together. I could pitch you all the sales you want, and I could call all the new investors, but the only problem, I'm bound by law. And that law says I can't talk to nobody to bring them in the Pontiac. I have to convince them by arguments to bring them in the Pontiac.
Now we will go to each candidate will have a 2-minute closing statement. On est à la fin de la soirée. Chaque candidat va avoir 2 minutes pour donner une déclaration de clôture. On va débuter avec Madame Toller.
This is an extremely important election. It is a turning point for the Pontiac. I will make the necessary changes and can see where we need to go for prosperity. I'm visiting the 18 municipalities to ask what their 3 priorities for the next 4 years are. I also ask what they would change at the MRC, as there's a lot of frustration. In particular, the municipal shares that they each pay to the MRC, which total $2.85 million. J'aurais établi les comités du Conseil de maire pour centrer l'attention sur les projets importants, par exemple le budget. Je désire pour diminuer des dépenses inutiles et le gaspillage. J'encourageais les maires à tenir une assemblée annuelle dans leur municipalité en regard du budget. Cela permet la transparence et la responsabilité. Alors les payeurs des taxes verront où vont leurs sous. The MRC receives a $2.2 million for development with little to show for it at the moment. When government gives us funding, we have to follow a business plan for what it will accomplish, especially toward MRC Vision 2020. The MRC Council will spend time developing a 4-year plan, if I am préfet, based on the municipal priorities. Once a month, the public meeting will be held in the evening so taxpayers can attend. I will make forestry a priority and adopt a policy which states that cutting and transformations happen in the MRC Pontiac. Pour favoriser les développements, nous demanderons d'éliminer temporairement les mesures qui sont un empêchement au progrès. Le 5 novembre, votez pour le progrès. Votez Jane Toller. Je serai une championne, une protectrice et une bagarreuse.
To lighten up the mood, I'm almost tempted to vote for you, Jane. So in order to be as enthusiastic, we're talking about vision, we're talking about leadership, we're talking about economic development, tourism, agriculture, partnership, name it. We've said it all tonight, but really didn't say it all until action is put into the words. And at this point, what you've heard is a lot of words. And I can feel some of the comments that we need a vision. My vision is that we are all united for our future. My vision is that the MRC does good work. Is there better work to be done? For sure. My vision as well is that you are all partners into this. Not a préfet, not 18 mayors are going to be doing stuff on their own way. You have an impact, you have something to say, and we have to listen. Are we going to be in agreement all the time? Nope. Is consensus a hard bargain to drive? For sure. But when action comes with the words, quand on dit les bottines suivent les babines, that's what I intend to do. And I intend to do that with partners that will see us evolve. Would you like me to cite some companies, names, and phone numbers for you? I don't have that. I do have a lot of knowledge about how this thing works and how we can go about in making it better. So yes, vision, yes, leadership, yes, accountability. Monies that are being spent in a way that the budget is open to public scrutiny. You have a responsibility to ask the questions about it. All right? So I invite you to be a participant, not to be a regressive partner into this adventure. So vote for me on the 5th of November.
I think I'll start by vote for me. Je pense que l'expérience que j'ai vécue et que je vis toujours dans le Pontiac au niveau du travail qui a été fait de reconstruction d'un système témoigne de ma capacité de mobiliser, de négocier, mais surtout d'impliquer les gens dans un projet pour devenir les meilleurs. Et ça, là-dessus, j'ai pas peur de le dire. I think that when I started working here, I had a very, very big challenge because our health services, we didn't have any. We didn't even have an ambulance. So I think that when I look back, I think I know that I can help with the municipalities because it's not something that you do on your own. You need a team to be able to rebuild and make sure that the people tells you what they want. And I think I have the capability of negotiating. I think I have the capability to get everybody involved. And I think what I have foremost is I like the Pontiac. And I wanted to survive. And I wanted the kids to come back. And I want the young families to have good schools and a good health services. And that the people that are retiring here say, you know, when we're here, we don't even have to lock our doors because we feel safe. And that's why I'm proposing to be your elected warden. Thank you.
My platform is better financial management, better levels of service, and more open doors. I don't know if you're aware, but you can't go in the MRC Pontiac without you have to have an appointment to go in to speak with one of the people. I want to open up the doors. I want better cooperations between our members of council, and I have a history of delivering that, and with other levels of government. I would also like to see the goal of having a zero tax increase, and I would also like to work at safeguarding the jobs that we have, that people are going to, and matching and creating more opportunities. Je voudrais participer avec l'amélioration de gestion financière, amélioration au niveau du service, et aussi amélioration de collaboration avec les membres du conseil et aussi d'autres niveaux du gouvernement. Je propose aucune hausse de taxes municipales et je voudrais avoir des groupes qui travaillent sur trouver d'autres emplois. Je voudrais donner ce que d'autres disent à Linda Davis. I'd like to tell you what some of the things that have been said about Linda Davis. Linda Davis is a councillor who works the hardest for her constituents and is the most down-to-earth politician we have. Linda Davis est la conseillère qui travaille le plus fort pour ses électeurs. Elle est notre politicien la plus terre-à-terre. CJOH TV Max Keeping. Linda Davis is a successful story of a hardworking, intelligent, and a dedicated politician. Linda Davis est l'histoire de réussite d'un politicien intelligent et dédié qui travaille très fort. Miss Davis is a candidate of great energy and is an effective champion. Madame Davis est une candidate de grande énergie et un champion effectivement. Linda Davis is a skilled, well-connected, and well-rounded community activist. She's dedicated and enthusiastic and articulate. Linda Davis est une animatrice communautaire versée, branchée et expérimentée. Je voudrais demander votre vote. Merci.
Très important, le mot qu'on a entendu plus souvent, c'est se moderniser, se changer, d'être innovant. Depuis 4 ans à la MRC du Pontiac, s'il y a bien quelqu'un qui était innovant, c'était Raymond Durocher comme préfet. Le changement qu'on voit ici ce soir, que la discussion publique qu'on a présentement, c'est Raymond Durocher qui l'a apporté avec 18 élus. Un dossier de 7 ans de convaincre des élus. 7 years it took to bring this open discussion we have in the Pontiac. I spearheaded it with 18 mayors. Am I afraid to lose my job? Maybe. Do I have confidence in the people of the Pontiac? For sure. I know what the people of the Pontiac could do. We have a plan. The plan is there. We have legal obligation as an MRC, des obligations très légales we have to occupy. Talk about budget. It's not a local municipality budget. People, local municipality are paying right now 14 cents per 100. Not for taxes, for services that the MRC is providing to the local communities that local communities cannot afford alone. When we have a plan and we bring up projects to create momentum, to promote our region, to create that momentum for jobs, schooling, and everything else, it's not for the warden, it's for the Pontiac. My objective, isn't it to gain more or not? I want to see like I said a while ago, I want to see also, like everybody at this table, to grow and prosper. But I can tell you, if you want somebody that knows how it works, I know. 25 years in the business, since 2009 a pro warden, and since 2014 a warden, and I know how it works. And I would like to have your support November 5th. Merci beaucoup.
Alors, c'est le mot de la fin. Je vous remercie beaucoup les 5 candidats. I thank all 5 candidates very much to have given us a lot of